I think Liverpool maybe got a little bit complacent. I think they kind of know that the league's theirs.
Allison is the number one goalkeeper in the world for me. He makes those saves and he makes them look easy. I just want to savour it, you know, that because we're going to win.
I don't, Peter. I want Arsenal to give us the guard of honour.
Yeah, that's it. That's fine.
I'll be totally honest, I didn't have a clue about Arne Slot and I was petrified. He's done fantastic. And we're going to win the league. So for that in his first season, you've got to give him all his flowers. Not only have we got another player, a fantastic world-class player, even if as he gets older, his form dips a little bit, he's still going to get you double figures in goals. And to go out and purchase that, it's going to cost close to 80 to 90 million.
He's the best player in world football right now. I think his consistency, I think this season, and his numbers backed it up, has been as better than ever. And
now he's in the Michael Owen category, isn't he? You know, if he goes, you know.
Really?
Yeah, that's the way fans think, isn't it? You know.
I won't put him in that category. He's not gone to Man United.
I mean, you went to Spain, didn't you? You know what it's like over there.
I almost went to Madrid myself, Sam.
Hello and welcome to Inside Liverpool. It's the show where we dive deep into all things, of course, Liverpool FC. I'm your host, Sam Ellard. Today, got another busy show. It's off the back of Liverpool's game against West Ham. Perhaps, again, not the most convincing of victories, but at this stage of the season, who cares? Another win, another victory. So close now to that Premier League title. And of course, it's our first show on the back of the announcement, the exciting announcement that, of course, the Egyptian King is staying with us. Got two brilliant guests today. First up, we got a former Liverpool winger, a Champions League finalist, and TalkSport's very own Jermaine Pennant. Jermaine, good morning. How are you, my friends?
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Peter. Hope so well.
We're good, thank you. And also as well, we got the front man of the farm, Peter Hooten, big Liverpool fan, season ticket holder. Peter, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks, yeah.
Good, man. Gents, we obviously got so much to talk about in terms of the match on Sunday, in terms of the Mo Salah news and potentially what's to come this week. But I thought there is only sort of one thing we should touch on first, because Anfield marked the 36th anniversary of the Hillsborough tragedy with a number of tributes on Sunday. The match against West Ham was the men's team's nearest fixture to April 15th, when in 1989 the disaster at the FA Cup semi-final resulted in 97 supporters losing their lives. Peter, you're a season ticket holder. You were at the game yesterday, and I imagine, and I saw on TV loads of incredible tributes before the game, during the game, after the game. But I imagine being there, it was an emotional afternoon.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, even after 36 years, it's still, you know, deeply entrenched into the psyche of Liverpool fans. You know, but I'd like to say West Ham fans were impeccable during the minute silence, absolutely brilliant. And I was speaking to the West Ham supporter, Andy Payne, who's chair of the fans advisory board, you know, and he said they'd done a lot of preparation for it, telling people, you know, to respect the silence and that. So it was impeccable. Obviously, it's a difficult day, 15th of April every year, you know, and but I think as a tribute, it was fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you mentioned it there, Peter. The away fans, they behaved impeccably, didn't they? And I just thought that I think Aaron Creswell laid a wreath outside the stadium. You said that it was impeccable inside the stadium. But it's something, isn't it, that Peter, that no matter how many years, it's always something that the people at Liverpool Football Club are going to pay tribute to. Yeah,
I think, you know, that's never going to end, really. And I think especially poignant now that Hillsborough law is going through Parliament, and there's talk about it missing various deadlines and that, but obviously that's affecting the families. But yeah, it's still a painful day.
Yeah, well said, Peter. And it was an emotional day yesterday at Anfield. On the pitch, it was a 2-1 victory for Liverpool, Jermaine. Liverpool taking the lead early on in the first half. We saw that incredible Mo Salah turn, didn't we, on the right-hand side? A lovely ball across goal for Luis Diaz. West Ham, to be fair, I thought were impressive in the second half. An Andy Robertson own goal put them back on level terms after 86 minutes. But then the captain, the skipper, scoring in front of the Kop. What did you make, Jermaine, of the performance yesterday?
It's like that old saying, a game of two halves. It literally was. The first half, I thought we could have easily gone in 2-3 nil up, and we looked dominant. And really, not really. Allison didn't really have to make a solid save. And we looked comfortable. And I thought, this game's probably going to be a breeze. We know how good Liverpool are in the second half when they play at the Kop. So I thought, yeah, easy, have my cup of tea, dip my biscuits in there, enjoy this game, 3 points, off we go. But the second half, I wasn't at all ready for what, the turnaround, the opposite of what I'm used to seeing in Liverpool. Yeah, it was a bad show, but full credit to West Ham. They came out and said, look, we're at Anfield, so what, we don't care. It's not going to be daunting. We're going to, really have a go. And I think Liverpool maybe got a little bit complacent. Obviously, knowing that Arsenal dropped points, I think a little bit of complacency kicks in. I think they kind of know that the league's theirs, the title's there. What is there else to play for? So, but I just hope that they finish in style. I hope they really, they win their following games.
Is that quite normal though, Jermaine? If you are playing in a team where sort of you're whether it's a relegation battle, you're going to be safe, or in this case you're going to win the league. Is it quite normal, do you think, to kind of mentally maybe just drop off a level? And do you think that's what we have been seeing with Liverpool over the past few weeks? Not in terms of results, because the results are still. I know there was the Fulham defeat last week, but we're still winning games, and our record is still impressive. I think over the last 5 games, it's only Wolves who have taken more points than us, and nobody is closer over the last 10 games. So results there, performances have dropped, haven't they?
Look, over a pan of a season, the amount of games that Liverpool have played, you can give way, you can allow for some games to be really, not great off the boil and maybe not even win some. But if you look over the season, 38-game season, you probably say 95% of them have been top draw, really good performances. So players are allowed to, not always be on the song, not always be 100%, not always playing great football. And yes, as professional footballers, even though you don't want to, subconsciously sometimes it sneaks in there when there's nothing to actually play for. If you're a relegation fight and you're relegated, it's kind of holiday season. If you're the mid-table, holiday season. If you won the league, you're not at full throttle. They may not think that they're going to do it, but subconsciously it's there because they know they really can't. They're not going to go on a 7-6 game losing streak to lose the league. So it sometimes can creep in a little bit of complacency.
Yeah. What was the feeling like inside the stadium, Peter? Because in the last few years, kind of going up against Man City for the title, it's been nip and tuck, hasn't it? It's basically been like every game's a cup final. Got to win. It's 1 point, 2 points, goal difference separating it. This year, obviously different because we're so far clear, and it's been pretty much inevitable for the last sort of 4 to 6 weeks that the Premier League is coming back to Liverpool. What's the feeling like being inside Anfield?
I think you're right there about it's the Man City effect. Psychologically, we were affected by them. We were getting to like 97 and not winning the league and that. So Liverpool fans have got that mentality now of, you've got to win every game. It doesn't, and I remember arguing with people after the draw at Villa and Kudus Park. They were good results for me. But no, we've blown it, and there's that mentality because they imagine Man City are on the tails, but they're not, and it's it. So you've got to get over that. But I think in the first half, I was just thinking this is going to be 2 or 3-0, 4-0. I didn't want you... After the minute silence, I didn't want West Ham humiliated. Do you know what I mean? We were thinking... We were just in awe of Salah, the long balls from Van Dijk, because obviously I think Salah's been missing Trent. He's been missing Trent's passes behind the fullback to run onto. But like Van Dijk, some of the balls he put to Salah yesterday were absolutely magnificent. And that one where he brings it down, just a touch, it's just, Jermaine will know how difficult that is. Just, it's unbelievable. And we were in awe of watching Salah. And I think the goal was a perfect example of what makes him so great. Everyone's thinking it's going to Jota, but it's not. It was meant for Diaz, and it was absolutely fantastic.
We'll talk sort of the contract situation, Jermaine, later on and what it means for the club. But as Peter summed it up beautifully there. I mean, I imagine as a winger yourself, is that almost just the perfect assist, the control, the turn, and then, the pass is literally perfection, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's what wingers, that's what, right-sided, left-sided players, that's their job. And like I said, that is, if you're going to show a youngster how to do it, then you just show him that clip. Everything about it was great. The touch was immaculate to get the run on Scholes. Then the ball on the outside of the foot, only certain players can do that. That was inch perfect for Diaz, literally just to not even break stride, run onto it, put it into the back of the net. So, but we've been seeing that from Salah for the past 8 years now. That's his go-to. But yeah, I saw that, and it just brought back some of the olden days.
Yeah, good man. There we go. You had that in your locker, didn't you, Jermaine?
I don't know about that. I don't know about the outside the foot though.
All right, fair enough.
I'll leave that to Salah.
So
Yeah, fair enough.
That he's beaten the 38 Premier League record, hasn't he, of goals and assists?
Yeah, he's got the.
Yeah,
Go on, Peter. Sorry.
yeah, he's only 2 short of the 42 game. He's a couple behind Shearer and Andy Cole, I think.
Yeah, he's broken the record for.
Game, so it's just unbelievable,
Yeah, broke the record for most goals and assists in a 38-game Premier League season. It's 48 goals and assists for Salah at Liverpool this season, which is quite frightening. And we've obviously still got a few more games to go. So, as Jermaine says at the top of the show, Peter, first half performance really good, could have been out of sight.
Right.
Second half, not so good. Allison's had to make a couple of big saves, and I think Slot said after the game was his best performance of the season.
Yeah.
Why do you think, Peter, that in lots of games over the few weeks, despite us coming out on top and still winning, that we are just losing control of games and making it hard work for ourselves?
You've got to give credit to West Ham there, I think. Paqueta was just unbelievable. Everyone was saying how, he's running the game. He was actually dictating play. It was fantastic to watch. It wasn't, watching as a Liverpool fan, but, Allison proved his worth. I'm not sure whether Kelleher makes those saves. I'm not too sure. Allison, and that's why he's the number 1 goalkeeper in the world for me. He makes those saves, and he makes them look easy, and they're very difficult saves. Being in the right position, narrowing the angle, unbelievable. But I think, the performance in the second half made the crowd very anxious, and it was noticeable, the crowd were, anxious, and we saw it coming, even though it was an own goal. Everyone's going, they're going to get one here. They're going to get one. Everyone was convinced that was going to happen. It was an unfortunate situation with Van Dijk kicking it onto Andy Robertson. Robertson will get the blame, of course, because it's Andy Robertson, and Van Dijk is perfect. He can't give him any blame at all. But I think he realised now that, it was really Van Dijk was at fault, I think, because Robertson had it covered, didn't he?
Jermaine, on Allison, is he the best goalkeeper you've ever seen for Liverpool in your lifetime? And even to broaden it out, lots of people on social media saying that he's getting into a category now where he's sort of the number 1 goalkeeper in Liverpool's history.
I think so. You've got to look at his all-around game. Is not only is he's probably for me he is the best one-on-one shot stopper out there. The amount of one-on-ones he comes against, but the striker, the midfielder, anyone fails to beat him, he spreads it. It's like a Schmeichel-esque. He makes himself big, and he also gets down low, so you can't put it through his legs. We saw the goal where Keller conceded against Fulham, where he kind of jumps in the air, makes himself big, but he also makes himself vulnerable by jumping and leaving his legs exposed. Allison doesn't do that. He gets low, he gets on the ground while making himself big as well. So it literally leaves you no angle to score the goal. You've got to be very, very, very cute and accurate to put it past him. And on the flip side of that, his distribution. He's great with the ball. He's not scared to play those tight passes into the midfield to break the press. Keller, not really, he doesn't like that. He's not comfortable. And that's why sometimes, like against Fulham, we couldn't really play out too much. And on the other side, his assists, his way to find Mo Salah, his long balls is absolutely is brilliant. So his all-round package is, for me, that's why he's the number 1 goalkeeper in the world.
Peter, I saw Dom King after the game from the Mail tweet that for everything said and written about Salah and Van Dijk, Liverpool don't win the trophies they have done in the last 6 years without Allison.
I agree with that. I agree with it. Remember that save against Napoli?
Oh, that was in 2019. That was
I mean, that he he doesn't make that save, we don't win the Champions League. You know, it's simple as that.
Would have been knocked down the group stages, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and I think, you know, I never thought I'd see as good a goal as Ray Clemens. You know, I think he's good as Ray Clemens. I mean, you can't say it's a different era. Clemens, didn't know how good he'd be with his feet, so we don't know. But as a goalkeeper, he's up there with Clemens for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just in terms of, just to broaden the conversation out a little bit, in terms of the goalkeeping situation, Allison's contract expires in the summer of 2027, so we've still got 2 years left on his deal. We know Kelly is the top goalkeeper, but his backup goalkeeper. And then, of course, Mamardashvili is coming to the club in the summer, signed last year from Valencia, loaned back, £30 million. Peter, how do you kind of think we're gonna juggle the goalkeeping situation then next season? Who's number one? Who's number two? And then I'm assuming one of the keepers is going to move on in the summer. Would that be Kelleher?
Yeah, I think it's got to, you know, I mean, I like Kelleher. I think, you know, he's done fantastic for Liverpool, but I think if you're looking at your number one, it's still going to be Allison. I think the lad coming in, I can't pronounce his name. I'm glad you pronounced it.
Mamardashvili, I think, Peter. Give it a go. Go on. Give it a go.
Mamadash, I'll call him. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it'll be, you know, there'll be rotation there, won't there? I think it'll be FA Cups and League Cups again, you know. I think, you know, that's fine until, you know, he establishes himself, you know.
And maybe Jermaine we'd obviously want Allison to stay forever and ever, but I don't know. I just can't see him maybe signing or going beyond 2027. So maybe with Mamardashvili, if he does come in, he has sort of one season as backup playing in the Cups. He sort of knows in the back of his mind that perhaps when Allison does move on, then he's kind of only maybe got one sort of year on the bench.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks like Mamardashvili will come in and, you know, be the understudy for Allison. I think he will, you know, learn, you know, get used to the culture. He will see how the Premier League is, how fast and erratic it is at time. And so yeah, and obviously it will be the similar situation with Kelleher, as in, you know, coming in when Allison needs a rest or when Allison gets injured, because I don't think there's a season where he's actually not being injured.
He's an injury-prone goalkeeper, isn't he?
He likes to get injured a lot, so there will be game time for Mamardashvili. So I think the first season will literally just be learning curve, and then, like you said, when Allison does go on, and he will take over and, you know, be able to take over the reins.
Peter, just watching the game yesterday, I thought, I mean, not just yesterday actually, sorry, but over the last kind of couple of weeks in particular, Alexis McAllister, how underrated is Alexis McAllister? He's won the most tackles in Liverpool this season. Yeah. Only Mo Salah's created more shot-creating actions. He's got to be one of the best midfielders around, hasn't he? You look at the fee that he came into the club for. I mean, a genuine bargain.
He's not underrated by Liverpool fans. No. I mean, we see him week in, week out, and how effective he is, how brilliant he is, you know. And I think it's just that he's not a spectacular player. You know, he's not doing Cruyff turns. He's winning balls. He's doing distribution, but they're not like Xabi Alonso passes, the efficient passes, you know, the great passes. But, you know, he doesn't catch the eye in that respect. That's why probably the national media haven't concentrated on how good he was, or match of the day or whatever. But he's essential for the setup of the team. He's been absolutely brilliant.
I mean, the midfield three, Jermaine, all season just been so functional, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's been that's literally what, you know, Liverpool were missing. You know, when we had Fabinho and Henderson, we needed this new style of midfield to help us to get around the pitch and go forward with the ball as well. And it's been a breath of fresh air watching it. You know, Gravenberch's been, you know, number 6, where Klopp could have used him there, but that wasn't his position. And Slot's been brave and said, listen, you can do what we need a player to do. So Bosley, you know, the engine on him, sometimes you need that engine. You need a player who can run around, tackle. He's also got great ability as well. And like Pete just said, McAllister, he's great on the ball. He does the things, the dirty things, them little passes, breaking up play. He's got great vision. He's got an eye for goal as well. We set pieces are deadly. So yeah, it's a perfect combination of players in that midfield.
Well, and we know that McAllister and Gavin Burke have pretty much been the two that have played all season, and at times this year there's been rotation with Szoboszlai and Jones. Are either of you two surprised that maybe in particular over the last couple of weeks, as you know, we play lots of games this season, the season goes on, that Harvey Elliott hasn't played as much football? Because it feels like he just never really has been given an opportunity. I mean, is he one of the players maybe that Arne Slot isn't sure about and could maybe move on in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because when he's come on, he's been quite impressive. I thought he should have scored against Fulham, of course, but he's been quite impressive when he comes on, but it doesn't suit that Slot style, does he? I don't think. I think he doesn't fancy him by the way he's not picking him, and it's the same with Chiesa, isn't it? But when he has come on, he hasn't let the side down, and he did well in the Carabao Cup when he come on, wasn't he? So I think he's been impressive, but for some reason, I mean that midfield is the perfect midfield for me, so it's hard to rotate it. I like Curtis Jones as a player. He's fantastic. He's a very clever player, Curtis Jones. But he tends to rotate the midfield with Curtis rather than Elliott,
And just how did you think Conor Bradley did yesterday, Jermaine?
I think he's brilliant. I think his defensive abilities a lot stronger than Trent's, which is always a plus. Obviously, he's not has got that passing vision that Trent has. I don't think any right back in the planet has. And the link is what I liked yesterday is he's starting to now link up well with Salah. That's what Trent does, and that's what helps give Salah the space when the overlapping of the right back or coming inside the 1-2s. That's what Trent does well, to also give Salah the space and draw the winger away so that they don't double up all the time. So I started to see a little bit more of that from Conor going forward. And he's being a bit more direct on that side. So I was really pleased and happy with Conor yesterday. I think the more he plays, he's still a young boy, the better he's going to be. So to have a replacement like that, knowing that Trent may be going, is a massive plus for Liverpool. Now you don't have to spend, 80, 60, 50 million looking for a replacement, because we've kind of got that already. We may lose a little bit going forward, but what we're going to gain is defensive structure.
Yeah, I was thinking two words out of my mouth there. I was going to say, I think, Trent's ability on the ball is kind of irreplaceable. I don't think any fullback can do what he does in terms of that passing distribution. But Conor Bradley just looks ready, Peter. I think every time I've seen him play, it feels like he's never really let us down ever since he's sort of come into the team. He's solid, he's reliable, he's aggressive. As Jermaine says there, he linked up well with Salah yesterday. Yeah. Would you be comfortable and happy with him being the first choice right back? Or could we have a situation where maybe the club don't go out and spend £50 million on a right back, but maybe another right back comes in to kind of competition for Conor Bradley, not as the outright number one, but there's sort of two of them going for the same position, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's done absolutely magnificent, hasn't he? He's even got a T-shirt about himself with when he tackled Mbappe. Someone
that was a legendary tackle, wasn't it?
Having a T-shirt in your first few games, it's legendary, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we do need backup as well. But I think most Liverpool fans have seen enough of him to say, he would be first choice if Trent moves on. But as you're saying about Trent, the vision, I think since Trent has been playing, that's what Liverpool fans have seen, what we miss, that vision, and that quality, So obviously everyone wants Trent to stay, but whether he does or not is another matter, I think Conor Bradley's a great replacement, but we do need another backup there. I don't think Curtis or Kwanzaa right back.
No.
It just stopgap decisions, aren't they, because we haven't got that colour.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated after a summer where one player coming. I'm really fascinated to see kind of with a year looking at the score, kind of what he wants in his mind. And Jermaine, I thought watching the game yesterday. Peter said that Liverpool fans in the stadium were talking about Paqueta being really good. I was really impressed with Mohamed Kudus.
Yes.
I believe that he's a player that Liverpool have liked a lot for a couple of years. I think he came to Anfield a couple of years ago with Ajax. And performed really, really well. And he's a player that's been linked with Liverpool for the last kind of maybe loosely last 18 months, 2 years. But I mean, with all due respect to our West Ham fans listening to this podcast and YouTube show, he's way too good for West Ham, isn't he? Because he's a winger. No, he is. I think West Ham fans will admit that. But he's a winger, Jermaine. He's got all the attributes. He's skillful. He's pacey. His end product is good. And you just think he's something about him where I really, really like him. And I can see him in a Liverpool shirt.
It's funny you said that, son, because when I was watching the game, I was thinking at times, oh my God, he would look good in a Liverpool shirt. He would do really well at Anfield. The things he was doing, you know, like you said, he's got all the attributes that we like our players, our wide players, our attacking players to be. He's quick. You know, we haven't actually got someone who's absolutely lightning quick. Salah's acceleration is brilliant, but he's probably lost a little bit of that magic speed. Diaz ain't really, you know, rapid. But Kudus is strong. He's rapid. He's got trickery. And I think it would fit perfect in our system. And when I was watching it, I was daydreaming, thinking, "Oh yeah,
the only thing now with him though is that a certain Mo Salah signed a new deal, isn't it? So he might not. We don't need a new right winger, do we? Thankfully, you know.
I think you can play him anywhere. To be fair.
Yeah, true. You're probably right.
He was drifting all over the place when for West Ham, and you do see him on the left, you do see him on the right, sometimes in the middle. If the price was right, I think that would be a good addition.
Yeah, I think so too. He was top yesterday. I do like him a lot as a player. Peter, just one more on the game yesterday. You mentioned there Van Dijk. Also, did you see the look the Robbo gave Van Dijk after Van Dijk booed? There was, I mean, it's still competitive, isn't it? They're not thinking about that Premier League title just yet.
Yeah, he was screaming at him, and Van Dijk wouldn't look at him, was he?
I think Van Dijk almost just knew, like, I messed up here. I'm just going to go. I'll go and score the winner at the other end.
Yeah. I mean, and we were saying just before he scored that winner, like we need one off Van Dijk now, you know, to make up for it, you know, and he delivered, didn't he? You know, and it was a killer blow for West Ham because I think they thought, you know, we've got a point here.
Yeah.
I think everyone on the ground could see they probably deserved it on the second half performance, you know, but Liverpool were totally dominant in the first half, and we could have easily gone 3 up easily.
Yeah.
So. You know, it wasn't there, but you know, it was like, in a way, I mean, everyone celebrated and it was fantastic, but in a way, you know, you're thinking, we can win it now it depends on Arsenal's result, doesn't it? But, you know, we got Leicester, which you presume Liverpool could win that game, and then it's back to Anfield for the Tottenham game, you know. I want to prolong it a bit, really, you know, do you know what I mean? Because, I just want to savour it, you know, that because we're going to win.
I don't, Peter. I want Arsenal to give us the guard of honour.
Yeah, that's it. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's if assuming Arsenal don't slip up, which is a possibility. But if we just in terms of what we're doing, it is 2 more victories now, and that would be the Premier League. So we go to Leicester on Sunday in the half-4 game. And then the following Sunday, home to Tottenham, that is where we could win it. I mean, Peter, again, you're a season ticket holder. You've been going for many years. Obviously, we know the last league title win was obviously behind closed doors. So this one would, to say the obvious, Peter, it would just mean so much to so many people. Yeah,
we couldn't celebrate properly when we last won it, you know, and it was. I mean, we did have celebrations, of course, as you've seen on the television, but. You know, this will be just, you know, different, completely different. You know, if the parade, there'll be 1 million people there, won't there? It's just going to be absolutely massive. We were with people from Germany and Austria yesterday in the pub afterwards. You know, and they'll all be coming back. They said if we're going to win the league, you know, or the Tottenham game, if it looks likely. So yeah, it'll be massive demand, and it'll just be. Be a great, you know, relief for it, you know, and it'll stop Man United fans singing 20 times.
Yeah, there we go, 100%. And I've got a funny feeling that after this season that I think it's going to be Liverpool that are going to win another Premier League way before Manchester United, which just sounds good because, I mean, my childhood was just, honestly, guys, I mean, I know you guys are both a little bit older than me, but the childhood just ruined of watching them lot win every single season and winning the most. Oh, it was a nightmare, wasn't it? But it's almost like, Jermaine, like, you know, because again, I've seen people on social media, you know, Liverpool are limping along to the title and stuff like that. And I still just think that we should never forget the like the ridiculous job that Arne Slot's done coming in from Klopp. And I didn't think we were going to win the league this season. I thought we were going to come third. I didn't think we were going to be as strong as Man City and Arsenal, but I thought we were going to be stronger than sort of the other top four contenders. But the seamless way he's come in, I think what's impressed me, Jermaine, not just what we've seen on the pitch, which is obviously the most important part, but just the way he as a man has conducted himself and the way he's holded himself. And I always think early on in the season, the questions he had to deal with about Salah and Van Dijk and Trent, and he's dealt with everything, I think, so well. He's almost just the perfect man to take over from a legend in Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I think they've done great in their recruitment to find Arne Slot. You know, a hidden gem. I'll be totally honest, I didn't have a clue about Arne Slot, and I was petrified that we're going to lose someone like Klopp and get an unknown in, and that club just go on a downward spiral. We've seen it with so many big teams when a new guy comes in, just can't, fulfill being at a club like that and doesn't have the CV. And I was just hoping for the best. Hopefully top four, get us in Champions League. But to be where we are, and at one stage, yes, the quad was on, but it's never been done before, and there's a reason why. But just to be in that conversation again, he's done fantastic. And we're going to win the league. So for that in his first season, you've got to give him all his flowers. He deserves it all. Yes, Klopp left a great team, a solid team. But at the end of the day, he still had to put his own style on it, his own DNA. He's done a few tweaks in here with players, which has worked wonders. So saying all that, he's done fantastic. And I think every Liverpool fan, living in dream world at the minute.
Yeah, 100%, exactly well said. And like Peter, we know that Klopp had a unique bond with the Liverpool fans, and we know for going back way back in the day, Liverpool have had like genuine legendary managers. Yeah. In terms of just a year into his time at Liverpool, in terms of like the connection between the fans and the manager, did it almost feel like there was an instant connection there between Slot and the Liverpool fans? How's that kind of bond been like from being in the city and living in the city?
He's very much understated, and he's the polar opposite really to Klopp. Klopp comes out with Shankly-esque statements and punches there, and everything's like emotion. Slot's dead calm, and he's a typical Dutchman, isn't he?
Some criticism that's come his way, and again, loose criticism, has maybe been the way he's rotated the squad over the last few weeks. Maybe some people saying there hasn't been enough rotation. He's just sort of trusting the same 13, 14 players who maybe last few weeks haven't performed as well as they have done in the first kind of 2/3 of the season. Would that be fair? Maybe the players maybe look a little bit leggy and we're not seeing enough rotation. Would that be a fair criticism maybe? Yeah,
100%. And I think if I'm going to give Slot any criticism, I think that would be that. I think the decision to bring on fresh legs and play certain players and give them a run out to try and change the game, I think that's my only criticism of Slot. Apart from that, absolutely first class. But I also understand kind of why as well. It's his first season. He wants to just get the job done. He's in the title. He wants to get the job done. So he wants to play his most comfortable team that he knows, rather than try and take risks here and there. Next season, once he's got that under his belt, I think he may come out of his shell and start, trying here and experimenting here and there on subs and starters. But I think because it's his first season, he's like, do you know what? Let me just be safe. Let's just be safe, get the job done, and I will play the team that I know.
Yeah, and again, we're top of the Premier League, so we can't be too critical, can we? So that was Sunday, a 2-1 victory against West Ham, which was a great result, but probably not the best part of Liverpool fans' weeks last week, because we finally got the news, guys. Officially, Mo Salah has signed a new 2-year contract with Liverpool. We know he was out of contract in the summer, and he's got the chance to add to his ridiculous record that he's got at Liverpool. Peter, I kind of thought over the last few weeks with sort of the noise that was coming out at the football club that this was going to happen, but man, to see him sat on that throne at Anfield, it was just perfect, wasn't it?
Well, Danny Murphy predicted it, didn't he? I think Robbie Fowler let it slip on the golf course, didn't he?
Yeah. Danny Murphy's the new David. Danny Murphy's the David Ornstein of Liverpool Football Club. He's the ITK.
Until Ornstein and Joyce announced it, the fans don't believe anything, you know. So, yeah, it was fantastic. And it was significant in the game yesterday that he substituted Salah for the applause.
But you know what, though? I was watching on TV.
But done that a few weeks ago.
I was watching on TV. Yeah, fair enough. I was watching on TV, and Salah didn't look happy to have been taken off.
No,
he never does.
I think he did it for him to get the applause, didn't he? And but there's no way Slot would have done that if the contract hadn't been signed. There's no way. You know.
Jermaine, Salah signs, and then Van Dijk kissing the badge, making it pretty obvious in front of the club yesterday when he scored, and. It looks like Verge is going to be announced this week, we imagine, we hope?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on both points there. I think the Salah one is big in so many ways. Not only have we got another player, a fantastic world-class player, even if as he gets older, his form dips a little bit, he's still going to get you 15 goals, minimum. You know, he's smashed that record all right, but if he dips a little bit, he's still going to get you double figures in goals. And to go out and purchase that, it's going to cost close to 80 to 90 million, easily, as a fee to purchase someone who can get half of those kind of numbers. If you look around the league, no winger scoring 15 goals. You look at Saka. I
say he's irreplaceable, Jermaine. He's irreplaceable.
Saka hasn't got 15 goals. So to get someone to be able to do that, you're spending a lot of money. We're paying Salah now probably 40 million over 2 seasons. So that fee that we would have had to spend 80 million, 90 million, we're now only spending 20 million. So we've got Salah at a cut price of 20 million.
Yeah, you're right.
We can now invest some money elsewhere to strengthen the team, on a striker, on a left back, on a right back. So it's a massive signing in so many ways that we've got him there, and we're obviously just paying his wages. And obviously the Virgil, he's been the rock of the team. So we're keeping the base of the team, Salah, Virgil, Allison. That is the core of the team. So if we've got that, like I said, we just build around all of that. So if both of them, with Virgil signs, it's absolutely huge for Liverpool.
He's literally irreplaceable, Mo Salah. I believe he's the best player in world football right now. I think his form this season has been freakish. He looks hungrier than ever. He looks fitter than ever. Yeah. His consistency, I think, this season and his numbers backed it up has been as better than ever. And I think now we're entering a conversation where we're not just talking about Mo Salah being the best at Liverpool and the best in the Premier League era at Liverpool, but in terms of the Premier League era, and I've only been alive in the Premier League era, but maybe someone might throw out their Thierry Henry, Peter, but this guy now is entering the conversations of the best players we've ever seen in this country, full stop. Not just in Liverpool, but in Premier League history. Yeah,
his record, and he keeps on breaking records, and it's unbelievable. And if he breaks that Shearer Andy Cole record of assists and goals, and they had a 42 game Premier League.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, it's just unbelievable. And there was a no-brainer for fans. You've got to give them that contract, but obviously it goes against FSG's whole modus operandi of investing in the young players and having a sell-on. But it protects the club because you've got 2 years. So, next season, if he wanted to, if Saudi come in with a massive offer and he hasn't performed too well, they've got the.
But that's the thing, Peter, with Saudis. I think Saudi's always still going to be there for Mo. Even if you're absolutely right. Even if his form dips, Saudi aren't just going to turn their back on Mo Salah. They'll sign him whether he scores 5 goals next season or 55 goals next season.
Yeah, it's because it's that sort of statement, isn't it, for the Saudis?
100%. Yeah, marquee signing. Yeah,
of course it is. But so it protects the club as well. And I think that's what annoys people about the Trent situation is that they're not getting a fee. I mean, most fans I go to the match with don't want to see him leave, but they're not putting stuff on social media about him. He's still a Liverpool player, and we've been honoured to see him. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's been absolutely brilliant. It's just the fact that we're not getting a fee, and fans get annoyed about that. So with Van Dijk and Salah, that's out the question now.
Yeah. Would there be, Jermaine, Salah, Trent sees these 2 new lads getting their new contracts, and they get their big, ovations, and we win the Premier League. Is there any chance, do you think, any part of you that thinks they're there could be a U-turn with Trent, and he almost sees what's going on and thinks, "Am I really giving this up?"
Listen, there's always a chance. But
Are you telling me there's a chance, Jermaine?
There's a chance. There's always a chance. But do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But there is a chance. But I think there's so much going on, so much publicity around it. It will be crazy for it not to be true or happen. And I think Liverpool obviously hold it out until this was kind of announced for Virgil and Salah to sign. So for me, I think he's gone, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. But I think obviously Peter, you want all three players to stay. But in terms of like importance to the team, I did always think that the Van Dijk and Salah for kind of obvious reasons, the goals of Salah and the way Van Dijk just holds that back four together. Those two were, if you had to pick, not you wanted to, if you had to pick, you'd probably pick those two over Trent. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely, 100%. We had to pick. So yeah, I think by keeping Salah and Van Dijk, that's the the basis of the team, isn't it? That's like the core of the team. So yeah, Trent. We're going to miss him. Of course, we're going to miss him. He's not going to miss those, the vision and the passes he used to give, and his goals as well, his free kicks and that. But Liverpool Football Club will go on. If he'd have stayed, he could have been maybe a captain, a Liverpool legend. But now he's in the Michael Owen category, isn't he? If he goes,
You think really? He's
unfortunately, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, that's the way fans think, isn't it?
I don't think I won't put him in that category. He's not gone to Man United.
I was going to say it was a bit hard. Michael Owen's hated among Liverpool fans, isn't he?
Yeah, you want to hear what people are saying on social media, But I mean, that's not a barometer. I know that.
Yeah, of course.
You must have seen those memes with like Michael Owen, McManaman, Trent in the pajamas, the Real Madrid.
In the Real Madrid pajamas.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's been put it this way, he thinks it's an opportunity for him, which he won't get again. But Liverpool fans obviously think Liverpool is the best opportunity he can ever have, and we're the biggest club. But let's face it, when Real Madrid and Barcelona come, it's it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult.
Yeah, I've always said, Jermaine, that the only team I think when you're a local lad playing for a Liverpool team that are competing for league titles and winning league titles, maybe the only team you can accept. Not accept, but understand a player moving to is Real Madrid when they come calling. I mean, you went to Spain, didn't you? You know what it's like over there.
I almost went to Real Madrid myself, Sam.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was my last. I think I was coming to a free. No, I wasn't a free contract. My last year at Liverpool, and one day Ramos, he needed. Barcelona, Real Madrid needed a right wing, possibly backup at the time, and they accepted an offer from Real Madrid. Liverpool did. But,
what happened?
Yeah, well, one day Ramos, it went above his head, so he kicked off, and then the deal was off.
No,
yeah.
You've got to be joking me.
Yeah.
So what year was this? 07 after 2 years at Liverpool.
2009.
In 09. So 09. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So one day Ramos, if you listen to this, cheers, pal.
So sorry. Wait. One day Ramos wanted you, but it went over his.
Barcelona, managed, sporting director, management.
Sorry, and then one day Ramos said no. Oh no.
They did the deal. They put in a because the chairman at the time, I forgot his name. Our chairman, Peter. Anyway, he phoned my agent, said, "Look, are you sitting down? We've accepted a bid from Real Madrid."
Are you sitting down?
Yeah. We've accepted a bid from Real Madrid. Do you want to go?
How did you feel when your agent told you that? How did you feel? That must have been.
At the time I wasn't playing. I came back from an injury, and then the season before I didn't really get as much game time as a Champions League season, which I played every game, and I kind of didn't see eye to eye with Rafa Benitez, and so I was like, I just want to play now. I just need to play, and when the offer came in, I was like, yeah, great. It's Real Madrid. And then I think about a few days later, they called up. So look, I saw, unfortunately, the deal was off. One day Ramos has not sanctioned it, but it was like above his head. And he wasn't the manager at the time, so they wanted to keep him happy. And
one day Ramos, that is bang out of order, isn't it? I mean, honestly, I'd say you'd have enjoyed a few scenes out there, wouldn't you, Jermaine, in Madrid? You'd have been living the dream over there, wouldn't you? Have you ever bumped into one day Ramos out of interest?
No, but if I did, I'll be telling him. I'll be asking questions. Nah.
You tell him.
Okay. But yeah, I
But
did
you
come out there anyway the year later. So
yeah, good man. And you said, you said Rafa, you just didn't did you not have a good working relationship with him or professional relationship?
No, for me, I needed a good management, a good man manager who, kind of at times put his arm around you, gave you the praises when you was good. Like, a couple of times I was getting man of the match and he would pick out the faults. And I like go, whoa, how about just well done today, Jermaine? You was really good. Just to give you me some confidence and thanks, Gaffer. But he just wasn't that guy. And you asked Stevie G and you asked Cara, you couldn't really have those conversations. You couldn't have one-to-ones with him. He was never good like that. Tactically, it was good. Making subs, it was great. But as a manager, he wasn't what worked for me, and we just kind of fell out at the end.
It's fascinating because I think Stevie said that lots before, obviously, in terms of Stevie's playing times. It's probably the best football he played was under Rafa. But he said he was a manager he probably didn't have the best relationship with for reasons you said. So it's interesting, isn't it, how different managers have different ways. And it's you know what I mean, Peter? Because Jermaine says, as a tactician, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the Liverpool fan base was split on Rafa, of course, because they knew what had happened with Alonso, and they knew his relationship with Cara and Stevie, because Liverpool was a village in many respects, so all sorts of rumours start going around, But, I think in that 2008, 2009 season, we were the best team in the Premier League, I think.
Oh, that, the 09...
was a bit too cautious and maybe wasn't attacking enough, but, there was loads of questions and that. But, obviously, as a fan, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You don't know what Jermaine experienced, but as a fan, we didn't want to see him leave to get the likes of Hodgson in, it was like, but at the time, it was the turmoil of Hicks and Gillette. The club was in turmoil. It was a few days away from administration, so he was working in difficult circumstances. But I can understand that. I've talked to Cara about it. He wasn't that type of man management. Arm around the shoulder. He'd always pick faults, and so. But his argument will be, I've spoken to him, I'm trying to improve their games. I'm trying to
of course.
Football club.
But hey, that feels now, thankfully, a long time ago. And we definitely shouldn't end inside Liverpool by talking about the bad days of Roy Hodgson. We should end the show by just reminding everyone that it is a great time to be a Liverpool fan. Obviously, Mo Salah's new contract in the week. A victory yesterday against West Ham. We are top of the Premier League with 6 games to go, with 13 clear of Arsenal. It's Leicester away on Sunday. Fingers crossed, maybe before that game on Sunday, we have another big contract extension this week. Life's pretty good at the moment. Jermaine, Peter, thank you so much for joining me on Inside Liverpool. It's been getting paid. Talk about Liverpool winning a Premier League is a nice gig, isn't it, lads? It's a nice gig, a nice thing to do on a Monday morning.
It's a pleasure.
Perfect start to the Monday morning.
Yeah.
Gents, thank you very, very much. This has been Inside Liverpool. We're going to be recording a show next Wednesday. Danny Murphy's going to be back on the show. But Jermaine, Peter, thank you very much. This has been Inside Liverpool. 2 victories away. Maybe just one, but definitely 2 victories away from a Premier League title.